Okay, algebra, settle down. That means stop talking, you're in your seats. Obviously, this video should not be playing if you're not in your seat. So now we need to stop talking, your eyes are up here. Now, we're not going to have a warm-up quiz today. Don't make me regret it. I will bring that warm-up quiz up to you Monday, whether you like it or not. So act right. Okay, we're going to go straight to the notes. Honestly, this is why I didn't want to test yesterday, is because I want to make sure that you're prepared for today. So it's honestly what we did yesterday, but more paying attention to the solutions of linear inequalities, okay? So let's recap from yesterday. So you need to first make sure that your equations or inequalities are in slope-intercept form before you can do anything. Remember the rule. If you multiply or divide by a negative, you need to flip the sign, okay? But regardless of that, it's the symbol you need to watch out for, okay? So if it's greater than or less than symbol, we're going to use a dotted or dashed line like this. If it's greater than or equal to or less than or equal to, then we're going to use a solid line, completely blackened out, okay? That's important. But then we're going to talk about which direction we shade, okay? So again, if it's less than or equal to, we're going to shade below. If it's greater than or equal to, we're going to shade above, okay? Just like yesterday. Obviously, if you weren't here yesterday, guys, and y'all have a little bit of catching up to do, you need to pay extra close attention. But hopefully your elbow partner can help you kind of catch up, but not right now. You need to listen to me. Before I forget, if you haven't opened your binder yet, okay, these are the notes that I added on your binder this week. So please make sure you're looking at lesson 4.15 part 2. We did lesson 4.15 yesterday. Today we're doing part 2. We're just kind of piggybacking off of it. If you don't have these notes, you need to raise your hand. And I have some extras on the desk, but you need to ask. I tried to put them in everybody's binder, but you know sometimes I could miss it if you take your binder home. Okay, we're doing the same thing we did yesterday, but we're talking more specifically about solutions. And we briefly talked about solutions, but we didn't cover it completely. A solution, when it comes to an inequality, is an ordered pair that is in the shaded region. Make sure you fill in the blanks, just like yesterday's. If an ordered pair is on a dashed line, like if it's on the dashed line, then it is not a solution. If an ordered pair is on a solid line, however, it is a solution. That's the one that tricks people the most. On a dashed line or on a solid line, that depends, okay? If it's dashed line, it's not a solution. That means it's not part of it. If it's a solid line on the solid line, then it is a solution. Regardless, though, if it is in the shaded region, it is a solution. Here's what I mean. So everybody look at number 1. 1 and 2 are already in slope-intercept form. The first 6 questions on your assignment today are in slope-intercept form already. So it's just kind of introducing it, okay? Number 1, remember we start on the y-intercept of -4. Y-intercept of -4, make sure you go below 0 4 times. Put a dot. If the slope is 5/3, which way do I go if the numerator is +5? Hopefully everybody in their head said up, because none of y'all like to talk. Which way do I go if the denominator is +3? We go to the right. Remember, it's rise over run, up and down versus left and right. So everybody put your pencil on -4. We're going to go up 5, right 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Put a dot. Do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Put a dot. And since I can't do it again, you need to know how to go backwards. So if I went up 5, right 3, I'm going to go down 5, left 3, put a dot. Okay, this is not one of those days where you can just use a ruler to get your best estimate kind of line. You need to make sure you have all the dots possible. Accuracy comes in handy with this stuff. Please draw your line all the way across the graph. Do not just connect the dots. Make sure you go all the way across. Although I forgot to check, okay, is it a dashed line or a solid line? Well, look at your inequality. If it's less than or equal to, look at your notes up top, then it's a solid line. So I did that correctly, okay? Now, which direction do I shade if it's less than or equal to? Hopefully you said below. Now, below in this case is under, so right here. So just kind of shade. Not too dark, but enough to see the shaded region. Just like yesterday, okay? Now, that's what we did yesterday, but today we're focusing on the solution, okay? So which one of these ordered pairs is a solution of this line? So if we look at 0, -3, 0, -3 is in the non-shaded region, so it's not a solution. -2, 4 isn't not in the shaded region either. But 6, -5, and I know it's a little tricky without there being numbers there, but you need to know the general area, is in the shaded region. So if it's in the shaded region, it is a solution. Circle that one. If I completely lost you, let's do it again. Number 2. Everybody should be writing this stuff down. So some of you are just staring at the screen. It's not going to do the work for you. You need to have all this written. Number 2. It's already in slope-intercept form. So we're going to start at +7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The slope is -1/2. So look carefully. Remember, if the negative is in the middle, I'm just going to put it with the numerator, not both. Okay. Which direction do I go if the numerator is -1? We're going to go down. Which direction do I go if the denominator is +2? We're going to go to the right, just like we did yesterday. So put your pencil on +7. We're going to go down 1, right 2, put a dot. 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 In the opposite direction, we're going to go up 1, left 2, put a dot. Up 1, left 2, put a dot. Up 1, left 2, put a dot. Sounds like a song, okay? Now, be careful before you draw your line, like I almost did on number 1. My symbol, my inequality is greater than. Greater than means it needs to be a dashed line. So when I take your ID or your ruler, whatever you have, don't just go straight through. Make sure you kind of like put gaps between each little space, just like that, okay? Make sure you show that it's dashed. Now, which direction do I shade if y is greater than? Hopefully you said above. So greater than is shaded above. Remember, I don't like to use the term right and left because it doesn't always apply. So above, below, above, below, okay? Now remember, solution means in the shaded region or on a solid line. If it's on a dashed line, it's not a solution. So if we look for 0, 7, 0, 7 is on the y-axis. Notice it's on the line. Because it's on a dashed line, though, that's the trick, it's not a solution. Even though it is on the line, it's on a dashed line, which means it's not a solution. 6, 6. So if I go graph 6, 6, that is in the shaded region. But before I circle that one, let's check -3, 2. -3, +2 is not in the shaded region. So my only possibility is 6, 6. But don't fall for this trick, guys. If it's on a dashed line, it's not a solution. Now, you know this is algebra, so half of the assignment is in slope-intercept form, but the other 6 questions are in standard form. You know how to convert standard form to slope-intercept. We've spent so much time on it. But what you need to remember is if I multiply or divide by a negative, you must flip the inequality. Don't forget it, okay? So let's look at number 3. To convert this to slope-intercept form, I first need to subtract 2x. So I have y is less than -2x plus 1. Now I don't need to divide by anything because y is by itself. So let's do what we just did on 1 and 2, okay? Where do I start? Hopefully you said +1. So put 1 on the y-axis, put a dot. Now, how do I make -2 a fraction without changing the value? And somebody in the audience said, put a 1 under it. Yep, those of you who are actually paying attention. Which direction do I go if the rise is -2? Down. Which direction do I go if the run is +1? Right. So put your pencil on +1. We're going to go down 2, right 1. Put a dot. Down 2, right 1. Put a dot. Down 2, right 1. Put a dot. Keep going. As you should be doing this. The opposite direction should be up 2, left 1. Up 2, left 1. Up 2, left 1. Okay. Now, because the inequality is less than, that means it's going to be a dashed line again. So when you go to draw your line, don't go all the way through. Make sure you kind of skip a gap like that. Okay. Now, which direction do I shade if y is less than? Also below. Below would be here. It doesn't have to be too dark, but don't go too dark. Okay. So now remember, solution means it's in the shaded region on a solid line, not a dashed line. So let's look. 2, -3. 2, -3 barely misses, okay? But if you don't draw your line accurately, you're probably going to circle 2, -3. Who did it? Yep. We're blushing. Okay, cross that out. 3, 1 is not even in the shaded region, so it's obviously not that one. -4, 0 is in the shaded region, so it is -4, 0. Okay, number 4. To convert it to slope-intercept form, first I have to subtract 2x. So I have -5y is greater than or equal to. Don't make that magically turn into an equal sign. Who erased? Who did it? I have -2x plus 30. And then we're going to divide. What are we going to divide by? -5. What did I divide by? A negative, which means I need to flip it from greater than or equal to less than or equal to. That's the trick. Now simplify. What's -2 over -5 simplify to? +2/5. What does 30 over -5 simplify to? -6. Okay. If you don't know that, use the handy dandy calculator. All right. We're going to start at -6 on the y-axis. Put a dot. Which direction do I go if the rise is 2? Up. Which direction do I go if the run is 5? Right. Everybody go up 2, right 5. Up 2, right 5. Opposite direction, down 2, left 5. Okay. Now, before I draw my line, let's check if it's solid or dashed. Since it's less than or equal to, that equal to means I need to set a solid line. Okay. Do I shade above or below? Well, since I flipped my symbol, because I divided by negative, I'm now going to shade below. So below, not above. This is why you need to be careful on when I divide by negative. Now our solution, 5, -4. Barely misses. It's not on the line, but if you didn't draw your dots carefully, you just put it on the line. So 5, -4 is not a solution. -3, 1. Not even in the shaded region. None of these are. Okay, this should probably be -5. So I'm going to retract what I just said. Let's fix 5, -4 to 5, -5. Although, knowing me, chances are it's already fixed for you. So pretend I didn't say that. 5, -5. So 5, -5 is on the line. I take it back. Okay, since it is on the line and it is a solid line, that's what makes it a solution. So yes, that first one's your answer. Okay, I'm going to skip. So I'm going to leave number 5 and 6. I mean, just because of time's sake, let's skip to number 9 and 10. Okay, if you're asking what happened in 7, 8, well, they went on vacation. So if I look at number 9, okay, these are those special cases. Since all it says is x is greater than -6, look for -6 on the x-axis. What type of line is it if it's going to go through the x-axis? And everybody's hands did a football symbol. Football goal? Something. Okay? It's going to go straight up and down. But wait, it's like greater than. So that means it's not a solid line. It's a dashed line. Almost did it. Who had to erase? Yep. Guys, I hope you're using a pencil, by the way. If you're using a pen, you're having so much fun right now. All right. Which way do I shade if x is greater than -6? Now, the rule is above, right? Well, where is above -6? Well, if you think of this as a number line, over here are your positive numbers and over here are your negative numbers. Well, greater than -6 or above would be to the right. Like that. Okay. Now, if we look at the solutions, -7, 1 is not in the shaded region. -6, 5, is on the line, but it's on a dashed line, which means it's not a solution. So no. But before I just circle 2, 4, make sure you go look. 2, 4 is in the shaded region, so that is my solution. Okay. On a dashed line does not make it a solution. Next one, number 10. When all you see is y is less than or equal to 1, no slope or anything like that, it's going to cross the y-axis at +1. So there's where my dot goes. What kind of line is it going to be? Everybody's arms went horizontal, okay? Or like this. Horizontal. So we're going to, but because it's less than or equal to, we are going to make it a solid line all the way across. Which direction do I shade if y is less than or equal to 1? Well, this one's pretty obvious. Where is it below? Think of below sea level. So there it is. Everything below here. Now, solution-wise, 2, 3 is not in the shaded region. 1, negative 2 is in the shaded region, but before I just circle that one, make sure you look. And 0, 3 is not in the shaded region. So, oops, not. So my answer is this, okay? Now, go ahead. If you don't think you need your binder, you can close it. Otherwise, I would probably leave this section out in case you're still struggling with the graphs. Before you just think I'm gone, please, okay? Please take this time to pause the video and pass out the assignment for algebra. It's this linear inequalities coloring activity. Yes, I said coloring before you all moan and groan, but it's a class project coloring. Now, will you get to the coloring part? I'm not too sure because I talk too much. So, everybody pass these out, please. Whenever you get back, let's continue. Okay, guys, so look, just like the notes, okay, 1 through 6 are already in slope-intercept form, okay? 7 through 12 are in standard form. You have to convert. So I'm going to do the hardest one with you. Everybody look at number 12. Go to number 12. Don't forget your name, okay? Yes, it has this little half sheet. I'll explain it in a minute, but why are we looking at that? Yes, you can rip it off if you'd like. Y'all asked too many questions. I'm just kidding. None of y'all said anything. I just talking to myself. Okay, number 12. We need to convert it to slope-intercept form. So the first thing I need to do is subtract x. Be careful here, though. I have negative y is greater than negative x minus 7. Whew, lots of negatives. But the reason why I want to go over number 12 is this is the silent killer. I need to divide by negative 1. Wait, what did I divide by? Say it again. I divided by a negative 1, which means I need to flip greater than to less than. What does negative 1 over negative 1 simplify to? Positive 1x. What does negative 7 over negative 1 simplify to? Positive 7. And there you go. But watch the silent killer, okay? Now we're going to start at positive 7. Okay, which direction, how do I make 1 a fraction without changing the value? Put it over 1. Which direction do I go if the rise is 1? Up. Which direction do I go if the run is 1? Right. So everybody go up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1. Opposite direction, down 1, left 1, down 1, left 1, down 1, left 1. Guys, you got to be as accurate as possible because I am grading your precision on drawing a line. Last I checked, you can use a ruler. Okay, now before you draw your line like me, make sure you look at the type of line. So since it's less than, that means it's going to be a dashed line. And yes, I will be checking if it's dashed or solid because I'm that particular, okay? Which direction do I shade? Well, since we flipped the symbol to less than, that means we are shading below, okay? Which means this entire region. Guys, you need to know the difference between shading above and below. That's why I wanted to cover it yesterday before I left. And you're welcome, because I bet most of you would have cried. Okay, now check the solutions. Negative 5, 7. Negative 5, 7 would not be in the shaded region. You would have circled this one, though, if you didn't flip the symbol. Next one, 0, 7. 0, 7 is on the line, but hint, hint, it's a dash line, so that means it's not my answer. Somebody circled it. Hopefully it wasn't pinned. 1, 10. Barely misses it. It's in the non-shaded region. But before I just circle yellow, let's check. Negative 5, 1 is in the shaded region. But if you don't draw your line accurately, guys, then you are going to be really close. So make sure you draw your line as accurately as possible. Now, to explain the color. Okay, you need to finish the work. Like, that's the homework. But the coloring part, this makes a group project. So y'all are going to go compete against the other algebra class. Everybody's coloring is different. Everybody's, okay? I would prefer you use markers. So I left the markers between the two of you, okay? So what I look for is, now you won't have every single number on here, but you do color the ones you do have. And no, that does not mean you only have to do those questions. You need to do all 12. But number 12, since we got yellow, that means I color the 12s yellow. Okay, This one, like, see, this one has a few 12s. So everybody's, now, whenever it comes together, it's going to make one large picture. So that's why it's important you do your best so you can compete against the other algebra class, okay? Go ahead when you're done. Don't worry about cutting this. I will do that, but make sure you staple it back together before you turn it in, okay? This is homework, regardless. If you don't finish 12 questions, or 11, okay? But the coloring, if you run out of time and you don't have markers at home, I will help you. Guys, work hard, try to finish, okay? Technically, you should have about 25 minutes for 11 questions, and it doesn't take long, but make sure you spend the time to color if needed. I will be back Monday, okay? So finish this up, and I'll see you then. Bye.